What is up, rad potential YouTube followers? Oh, I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. Just gonna set it anyways. Okay. So, took apart some parts on the Jeep. As you can see, it's in here. The convertible's in the basement, which is awesome. So, what happened to the Jeep? Well, if you haven't followed along from the beginning, I got this thing a while back for cheap to free, which I like to call it is, it's the cheap or the freep. So the cheap Jeep or the free Jeep. Because, if you can't tell, it was in a mild altercation with a guardrail. And by mild, I mean it pushed the frame rail like 3 inches this way. It still drives straight as an arrow. I drove it to Arkansas, and like the only thing that broke is ignition coil, so like runs good. However, a couple weeks ago, I was doing some donuts in the yard. Might have had another altercation with a tree, and this tree finished off what's left of my grill, and I think the rest of it's in the back here. Let me show you. So this thing will even open. Ooh. Oh yeah. So this altercation with the tree kind of broke the rest of my grill, as you can see here. They also were jumping it around and stuff and killed my air compressor back here. So no big deal though. Not a problem. Amazon to the rescue and Facebook Marketplace. So I hop on Facebook Marketplace, perusing around for Jeep parts every now and again. These things are pretty cheap, so you can find them all over the place. And I found me a new header panel. From the picture, could have swore it was the same color. 25 bucks, showed up, bought the thing, looked perfect, brought it home, and if you're just as good at sight as me, that is not the same color. Now it's real close, don't get me wrong. That's green and that's green, but those are not the same green. This is more earthy green, this is more bluey green. However, I don't really care. So, the new header panel is literally mint. It's a little scuffed up in some spots, but who cares? It's a Jeep. It's got some light bar holes cut in it, but who cares? We'll put more eBay light bars in there. We got to get this thing put on. So, what's going to suck is, since, you know, my Jeep has had some altercations with large immobile objects, things aren't entirely in the right spot up here, as you can kind of tell. So, what do we got to do? I'm going to get my slide hammer out. We're going to hook it in right about here and right about here, and we're just going to pull on this side, pull it back out a little bit. You can see where it's all punched in from the good old guardrail. That's just the inner fender. Probably ought to just rip that out. And then on this side, this is the other thing. So shout out the guy that sold me the header panel. Apparently there's supposed to be some like nice little vacuum canister here that controls your heater and stuff. And well, as you can tell, I don't have that. So maybe the issue with my whole running thing has been a vacuum leak up here for a while. So we gotta sort this out. This is that vacuum line. It'll connect it into some little doohickey ball up here, and we'll figure it out. So for now, let's start hammering. Alright guys. Alright, back on the Jeep project. So, got some metal yesterday. Notice this right here. This is probably the cheapest Jeep bumper that you can buy. So this is a little over 8 feet. Inch and a half. I think it's like 070 wall, 090 wall, something like that. Fairly thin stuff. Pretty sturdy. Should be able to bend it pretty easy with my little Harbor Freight bender down there. And this is going to be a bumper for the Jeep. So, what I did already, got the front valence off. We are going to massage this fender a little bit. And by massage, I mean we're going to use the LDFH, which is the light duty hammer, LDFH, and we're going to massage this back. So you can see here these tabs right there and there and there. Let me get in here and get some good light in it, maybe, sorta, kinda. Here we go. Alright, so you can see that tab there, that tab there, that tab there. They're all, you know, mangled and stuff, right? Because this side had a hit with a tree. This side, perfect. Notice they're straight, perfectly perpendicular. Same thing, this little support bracket right here. This guy being all mangled up and in there like that with that little suspender looking thing. So we're going to it's a wiper sprayer. It's all jacked up too. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do real quick, I think I'm just going to pop the front of this fender off. I think I should be able to get most of these loose and then slide it out a little bit, fix the bracket, put the fender back on. It should be close enough and pushed in. And then what we'll do is, I'm not really, like, I don't use the wiper squirters, so don't care. But I'll probably look at that while I'm in there, see if I can't make it function-ish. So let's get cracking. The other thing, my new lenses should be here for these, so I can pull this lens off and put a new one on. I need to just disconnect. There should be a big old wiring plug. You can kind of not really see it, but there's a huge connector down in here that when you unplug it, it lets you take the whole headlight harness out. You can see it on this other valence header panel, whatever you want to call it, right here. This big boy. So there's one of these down in there. Full header panel comes out. You can leave the lights in it, but obviously this one's taken apart. But I'm gonna go ahead and start banging on this. Alright, y'all, so just notice this. This looks like it's a bracket mounted to it. You see there, the bracket here mounted to the chassis there. I wonder if I just pop that baby off, whenever I hook this back on, if I can just push the fender in and not have to worry about the bracket, or if I'll need the bracket. It looks like the wiper thing just got popped out, and if I bend all of that back, I can make the wiper thing work. So let's give it a shot, eh? Be the fender's life. Yeet. Heck yeah. Alright. Ultimate question. Do we keep the inner fender or do we not keep the inner fender? Oh, I think it just decided for me. Dumpster pile. Okay. Doesn't look like anything's really buckled. This thing looks to be good. We just gotta straighten this front piece out. We'll rip this thing off. Don't need that where we're going. That whole thing got pushed up and under. If you see from there, this whole thing's under like that, whereas that one's like nice and straight. So let's pull some of this off, start beating on it with a hammer. Alright, Letty gave it the good old 1-2 punch. Look at this fitment we got going on here. So I'm not going to be able to get that bolt in, that's fine. This, if I bend this tab frontward towards the front of the truck a little bit, that'll mount up. And then we already hit this hole right down here, the money shot, that back corner. You see the stud poking through, maybe sort of kind of. And look at that, lining up. Looking sick. Little, you know, dingered and dangered, but that's just fine. And then this side's money shot. I mean, like, you couldn't get any better than that. Fresh. Fresh. Put in the comments below if you can see the color difference. So, like, from right there, oh yeah, same color. From back here, definitely the same color. Prove me wrong. Right? Yeah, I think it's the same color. Once I put, like, a bright orange marker and get the front clip all back together, we'll be set. We'll be set, boys. Alright, well, I'm going to go ahead and hook the wiring up and get this front grille mounted and get this fender mounted to it, and then we're going to start cutting some pipe, bending some pipe. Alrighty, folks, we're back in the action. Oops. Look at the front of this Jeep. Looking like new. from this side. Still. How about that hood gap though? Totally way smaller in the middle. The other thing too, maybe it's better, probably not. No, still not. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. Usually before the driver's side was a lot higher than the passenger side, but it might be a little bit better now. I don't know. So I got all these parts coming, overnight parts from Amazon. They'll be here tomorrow. And then we got to figure out something to do, maybe a light bar with the holes in the grill. Here, you can see some custom zip tie nation stuff going on. Which I just left it in there because, you know, don't care enough. But figure out if we can put a light bar in there eventually. And then right now I'm going to go ahead and measure off a little bit and of some my custom bumper. And we're going to start making this custom bumper right now. Alright y'all, so what I did is I measured from here, this crack, to the end. It's about 10.5 inches straight. I'm going to be kind of out here, so I'm thinking maybe like 12.5 inches. So I've got a little bit of pipe to work with, and I can always use the end of it as my little outrigger thing. So I measured 15 inches in. We're going to start my bend. What this is going to do too is it's going to let me know how much material I'm going to use up in that bend. So it's not like a huge bend, it's just that one. But basically, so once I do this one, which will be my first bend, I'll eye it up where I want. I'll know exactly how to make it to be able to make the second one, so that way I don't have to cut a bunch of material off. But also, the nice piece is I'm making this out of one bit, so as long as I get the center of the bend to the center of the bend mildly good, I can just dice the ends. So, here we go. This bottle jack thingy, got it for 50 bucks on Facebook Marketplace, or you can buy them new at Harbor Freight for like 100 and some change. Now, this is going to mushroom / flatten out the pipe where I'm bending this. Basically, it's going to oval it. Which is not entirely the most bueno thing when you're making like roll cages and stuff. But for this, who cares? We're just going to go ahead and bend it. Alrighty y'all, you can see that one right there. Looks pretty good. Now I just got to measure off. Basically, I'm going to hold this thing up. Actually, maybe. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to measure the width from this crack to this crack, so the width of the grill. And then I'm going to line that center up again, and we're going to let it eat. And just bend it again. And then we're kind of have to just like eyeball, make sure that I get it like in the same plane, because what you don't want to do, and I'm going to set this down just to illustrate, what you don't want to do is when you bend this way, and you stick it out, and then you bend it again, so you're like that, if the two bends aren't on the same plane, so like you could get it to where you'd have one like this, right, because you bent it while it wasn't flat, so you need them both to be flat together, fingers and stuff. So basically, like if I didn't get it in the jig straight, that would like poke up like that. It wouldn't be right. So we're gonna go ahead, measure this off, bend it again, see what it looks like. Alright y'all, so we got it bent. As you can see, went a little too far in the second one. So I'm gonna go ahead and chuck it back in there and bend the first one a little bit more. Alright y'all, so I think we're looking a little bit better. I'm gonna go ahead and measure 15 inches from my mark on that one out. We're gonna lop it, and then I actually think I may just go like 12, but I'm gonna measure out on that one. We're gonna lop that piece off, hold this thing up here. Somehow I'm gonna have to suspend it so I can build those little mounts, because they ain't gonna be straight and they're not gonna be centered, because I got holes here I gotta avoid, and then this side, since it's been punched in. So basically what you're gonna see is like the one support's going to come out here to hold it up, and then the other support's going to come out here, and it's not going to be like perfect. It's going to be a little janky, but that's okay, because it's the cheap or the free. We're just trying to make it look decent. Alrighty y'all, I know I start every clip saying alrighty, but that's fine. So here's what we got. Been up so far. I haven't measured a single thing besides my length to the bend of 15 inches. So this is what we're looking at. And now all we got to do is, this is the part that gets kind of weird just because my stuff's all crashed, but basically this pickup point here, I'm just going to weld a tube right to the frame right there and bring it up to this. And then same thing here, I'm going to weld a tube right to the frame there and bring it up to this. The only thing that's, and maybe I can get it somewhat lined up, like kind of on this grill line here, but it's gonna have to be a little bit outboard of it. And I'm not about to try to like form fit a tube to this, because mine's all mangled right here. So I'm just gonna make it work wherever they fit, and we'll just have the bar there. Alrighty, so made my first little piece. It's a little long, but it fits pretty good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to replicate it, but I think that whichever one I make for over here is gonna need to be longer than that one, just because that frame rail's pushed back and that one's not. So I'm just gonna try to recreate this, but maybe about the same length, maybe a little longer, and then I'll mock it up over here. So if you see, basically this piece is just back cut on an angle there, and then I just coped it with my grinder. So, and you can see here just how much shorter it is. So it's a good eye there. You might need to make it probably about a ½ inch longer than this one overall length. Basically the exact same piece, same angle. That'll get me close enough. And then basically all I'm gonna do is grind that smooth, hold this piece in here, butt this up against it. We're gonna tack this beast in place, and then we may do like a straight one. I'm gonna have to get more steel, but may do a straight one and do a lower bar, and then do 2 little angle uprights to the end. But I think this will probably just be a good start for it. Good little bash bar. Alrighty, you just look at that. Look at that bar on there. I think we done good. Done good, Aaron. So, the one thing you're gonna notice, which, and maybe you won't, but I will, that bar is as close to centered underneath this as I can get because my frame's punched in. This bar is as close to center as I can get under that bar, under this grill bar, because there's a big hole right here. So, it's not like if you're standing here looking at it, you know, honestly, from here, you know, from here, once it's all painted black, you will never know. Not a chance you'll notice, but I'll know because obviously I made it. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to go ahead and just burn these in on that because I like it where it is, and then eventually I think what I'm going to do is cut these shorter, just dice them at the fender, and then we'll have our little bumper on here. Now I will 100% say this is not by all means as strong as a stock bumper or any bumper that I could have mounted in the stock location. This is merely here to fill a void that is left by not having a bumper. So if I run into something, it's still going to smash a bunch of stuff, but that's okay because this has already been smashed. So basically too, what I think I'm going to do, like what I said, is I think it would look better if I had another bar down here. So I'm going to go to the metal store and grab another bar just like that, and basically just make a lower bar too, and then just tie it in just like one of these diagonal guys on the ends. I think that would really sweeten it up. So I'm gonna go ahead and burn this in, but for now this is what we've got. Thanks for tuning in. Keep it rad.